This PSA was brought to you by the Peter G Show.
You may have second thoughts after the show.
Don't drink the faucet.
We're really talented. We should get Oscars.
Just pick out a car, for Christ's sake.
No, hi, my name is Peter.
Yeah, I want.
Here's good.
Yeah.
Madam Perry.
I need to get back in the genie bottle.
Louis from Pennsylvania, you're on.
He likes it.
It's showtime.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad, Peter G Show.
Hey kids, guess what time it is? That's right, it's Peter G Show time. That's right, don't mention it. Thank you. How's everybody doing? It's that time again, once again. Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the Gulf Coast, East Coast. Wow. All right, let's take it over again. Hey, everybody. Anyway, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. on the East Coast. Got my Gulf Coast mind on my shoulders. But most of all, God willing, glad to be here. We made it through Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, or the best you can make it. As I said, for those of you who struggle, it's okay. It's okay. That too shall pass. We'll talk about a lot about that kind of stuff tonight, especially now that we're in the holidays, going into the Christmas holidays. Not easy for everybody, and which brings me to my point. Tonight, where am I? Right here. Tonight, I have on this show Baltimore's own Pastor Ray Poellot. Pastor Ray Poellot has been on this show many times, and there's a reason for it, because he's a special individual. As I said, he's the homeless whisperer. He's he's God's servant to the homeless. So he's right here, going to be on the show. Takes a special person to do what he does. And I know we think about a lot of hardship things and think about them a lot, but he does not only think about these kind of things, he does things to try to make a better way for the lost, the lonely, the drug addicted, the mentally ill, you name it. We're going to talk to him tonight and see how he's doing over there in Baltimore. And it's probably cold over there, I'm not sure, but we're going to find out. It is winter time. I don't even know if there's snow over there, but he'll be on the show shortly. Next week, got to get through all this because I really want to get to Pastor Ray. Next week, I'm gonna open up the phones. I'm gonna really try to see if we can get people to talk about the holidays, the good, the bad, the ugly, and how you're handling going into it, how life has been. It's a struggle, that kind of stuff. I'm going to do this all through the holidays. I do this every year because it's so important. I know it destroys people. I mean, it brings you in the dumps. Not everybody has, the picture perfect holidays, especially, everyday life. To me, everyday life is important, very important. Not just the holidays, but the holidays has a way of emphasizing and making things a lot more, heavy if you're not doing well. If you're not doing well, it can take you down, but you got to hang in there because, again, it's only a few days, and then we got to keep on moving forward until the next day. One foot in front of the other. So that's what I want to do next week, and that is December 11th. I'm going to open the phones and hope that some of you, I know a lot of you people watch and want to talk, but nobody sees you if you're shy. Nobody can see you. It's a phone call. Just tell me some things that are going on, how your year has been, how it's going. Are things getting better? Is it tough? I mean, believe me, you're not alone. We say that all the time, but it is tough. It's tough for me. It's tough for you. It's tough for everybody. We all have our headaches just in different ways. Speaking of headaches, where am I? Right here. Hey, Paul. Hey, everybody. Guess what? It's Paul's birthday today. That's right. Right there. Right there. Right there. It's Paul's birthday. Paul, if those of you don't know, he's my Gulf Coast associate. And back in the day when, power and getting it all together was really rough, when I'd be down there in the Gulf Coast trying to make it all work, and we'd be doing the show in the back of a Chinese restaurant kitchen, he'd be outside on the bicycle pedaling to keep the electricity going, okay, and the internet signal going with aluminum foil on his hands like mittens. It was that tough, ladies and gentlemen. But tonight's his birthday, so happy birthday, Paul. That's all right. Yay! 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 All right. Tried to call him earlier, but people like him are very busy. But anyway, yeah, we talked about next week. We did. I also want to remind you, please subscribe. Please go to YouTube, hit the subscribe button. They still make it very difficult for me to be seen. I know if you're seeing it, you don't understand because you're seeing it, but believe me, the censorship and everything is there. It's still going to be there. Maybe after next year, they'll be changing their tune a little bit, but they've had it out for me. They don't like what I say on a lot of my shows because sometimes you just can't tell your opinion unless it goes with their narrative. So please hit the subscribe button anywhere you're watching. On Facebook, hit the follow button. Okay. If you're watching from LinkedIn, hit the follow button, whatever. We're on a bunch of different platforms. All I'm asking is help a brother out. Subscribe. Yeah, I like Paul's idea. Look at you watching the show tonight. I thought you'd be out partying. Subscribe and send money. I'd love to make that happen, but I'm just asking you to subscribe, and it's free. Free. I mean, I'd like to say you get what you pay for, but come on, we know it's good. It's all right. What do you want for nothing? All right. Also, I know a lot of people are busy, and I truly love the ones that take the time out of their lives to watch this show. I know it takes a lot of commitment. It's a long show, but it's worth it. I bring some things to your attention that you may or may not know. And I may make some people happy. I may upset some people, but at the same time, I still am not going to say, well, I don't care if you don't like me and I don't like you. I love everybody. I'm just trying to bring things to people's attention, and what you choose to do with the information is completely up to you. But sometimes it may open another, piece of your eyelid to say, wow, I might just keep that in the back of my head and keep it, for consideration as the future goes on, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But either way, if you can't make it to watch the show, you're on fire. What do you get? Must be are you at the bar getting paid while watching? Yeah, getting paid while watching. You're getting paid while watching. Well, I thought you were saying I'm paying you to watch. We know that ain't happening. So I done looked in the cookie jar. It's broke. So in other words, for those of you who are busy, I'm going to be really sidetracked. Can't wait till I get past Sheree on. That way I can focus. For those of you who are busy, I got a solution. Just put an earbud in your ear and Google Peter G. Show podcast. You can take the show on the road with you. You can listen to it in the car while you're driving. You can do it while you're exercising, walking, while you're at work. Right, Paul? Work is boring. You can't watch it. You can listen to the audio version. It's the next best thing to be in there. It really is. It's not that bad. I try to keep the shows to where they make sense if you're just listening. Once in a while, a few times, there's videos I'm showing. I love showing videos because it's other people bringing you information, and it's not just my opinion. But either way, put an earbud in your ear, make it happen. It's worth it. I try to bring things that are going to, enlighten you from all walks of life, from health to family to current events, which is getting me in a lot of trouble lately, but I have to do it, right? I do it for you, not for me. I already know what's going on. Please do me that favor. Please, please, please subscribe, okay? And follow. Hold on a second. Starting early. Here's to you, Paul. Happy birthday. Known that guy since I was in 6th grade. He's always there for me when I need him. I was going. Oh yeah, I forgot. Do it again. Take 2. See, I'm so. Watch. What's going on here? See, I got frazzled today because I forgot to almost set the show up to go live. Paul says smooth. What does he mean by that? Let me take a sip. Woo! Smooth. That's the first time I've forgotten that, believe it or not. It's just kind of like par for the course. So here's what's going on. I swore that for this month, I was going to stick with the holidays and family and love, because love is like probably the most important thing to me of all. I started this show because of love, going through divorce, for the love of my child. I mean, just love my friends and family. As we're getting older, we have friends that are checking out. You could be next. Who knows? I don't want to let things get to a point to where you are mad at somebody or hate somebody, especially, like I said, with the political beliefs and all that crap. And you know, I can't say it enough. Regardless of what your beliefs are or whatever, I love you. Unless you do something really wrong to me, I don't care about, you know, just because we don't, you know, agree on everything. It's just the way it is. Here we go. Hi, Jessica. Look at that. I'm glad some people are chiming in. Thank you for joining. I love you for joining. All right. Thanks for being part of this show. But I swore for this part of the month, being the holidays and all that, there's so much current events. The news is changing daily, rapidly. And I don't mean just like, you know, there was a cat up in the tree and the fire department had to go. This is major life-changing events for this country, for this world. That's why I took on that argument of debating whether I was going to talk this kind of stuff, knowing it would make some people angry, because you can't please everybody. That's a fact. You can't please everybody. And I said that this month I'm just going to stay focused and not really, you know, make a show out of current events, because I can make a 3-hour show and still have plenty to go. But I decided, you know, again, today, I was debating, should I just talk one thing before I bring my guest on, or should I just say, forget it? You know, I was going to talk about one issue that's been going on over the week and everything, but I said, pardon me, but I'll let it go. Just pardon me. I won't talk about it. I'll let it go. And then something else came up this morning. And this is like evil, down and dirty stuff that I had to mention it. I had to talk about it. I just felt like this is what's going on in our world, when the dirty, corrupt business that's happening to where murder is in order. And this is just one example of the things that need to be cleaned up. And I'm just going to play this real quick, and I'm going to let this guy explain. This is the older millennial. I love this guy, but he'll pretty much United Healthcare. The CEO was just gunned down in New York City this morning. And something very, very corrupt with stocks and all this kind of stuff had gone down with United Healthcare. That's big. That's like Blue Cross. And I mean, they're huge. And there's some shisty stuff going on. And to have a hit squad take you out, this wasn't anything random. This is deep state, like CIA, you know, just black op type stuff. It really bugged me. I want you to watch this. You need to be aware. This is our world, and this is horrible, but we got to clean this stuff up. Thank God the Avengers are coming in, whether you agree or not. They're going to change this stuff. This stuff has got to stop. Here you go.
This is breaking news out of New York, as the CEO of United Healthcare has just been killed. He was gunned down around 6:45 a.m. this morning, which is Wednesday, specifically outside of a Hilton hotel in Midtown. And the attacker is actually still on the loose and has yet to be identified. Police are offering $10,000 as a reward. But here's the thing, right? This just happened in the midst of United Healthcare being probed by the Department of Justice. Now, it's interesting because the DOJ also sued to block the company's acquisition of home health and health provider Amedisys. And Thompson was actually accused of being aware of the DOJ probe, naming Thompson and others and accusing them of unlawful practices and not telling investors before he unloaded over 31% of his stock, unloading $12 million worth of shares, with Thompson actually being the biggest insider seller, while its parent company, United Healthcare Group, has come under fire from angry patients who are claiming that the insurer refused to cover their care. And in July, 150 protesters actually gathered outside of their headquarters in Minnesota. And they were with the People's Action Institute campaign group, with campaigners writing a pretty expressive letter to UHD CEO Andrew Whitty, saying specifically that UHD's profiteering by denying care is a disgrace. And United Healthcare was also accused of using AI to deny claims, specifically for post-acute care services and Medicare Advantage. That lawsuit being filed by families of 2 senior Medicare Advantage members, who actually died after the insurer allegedly used the NavaHealth platform, reportedly illegally, to reject care. And according to that lawsuit, the technology has a 90% error rate. But in a statement to Fierce Healthcare, United Health said that the lawsuit had no merit, apparently because they were not using NavaHealth to make decisions, with a spokesperson actually saying that the tool is not used to make coverage determinations. But according to a recent investigation into the company by Stat News, internal documents show that NavaHealth set a 2023 target to keep rehab stays of patients in Medicare Advantage plans within 1% of the days projected by the algorithm. Former employees actually said that they were forced to abide by this rule, or face discipline or even termination of their roles, regardless if the extra days were covered under Medicare coverage rules. And there is a lot more included in this investigation.
Healthcare, corruption in healthcare. Enough corruption in healthcare to where the man was gunned down. Somebody didn't want him alive. Either he might start singing and saying something, but I mean, how deep do you have to go to have that kind of stuff going on? It's like mafia stuff. It's got to stop, folks. It's got to stop. Life is too damn short. But I digress. All right. We're going to bring on Pastor Ray Poellot in just a minute. First, I want to hear from my good friends over at Clean Star Products with their money-saving fuel additive. Right? DX1 driver. It makes sense to save money. I'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Tyrone Thompson of CleanStarProducts.com. This is DX1 Driver in the News, and here's what our friends have to say.
So I'm here to recap on the DX1 I've used. I put it in oil and I put it in the gas. While I'm using it just for about 3 tanks. Cleaned everything out. I got every ounce of power back in my truck.
When Jared's truck was new, it had a lot of power. Then over time, it began to slow down. He got it all back with our DX1 Driver program.
Something you got to see for yourself. It's a great product. It's affordable. And it blows all the other additives and esters out of the water.
DX1 Driver is the finest oil in the world from a California environmental company. It goes into the fuel system and the oil. It's the only green grade product qualified for the carbon credits program, giving you better fuel mileage, lower emissions, and increased horsepower. So join the fuel savings revolution today. Go to CleanStarProducts.com/shop.
That's right, folks. Clean Star Products with their DX1 driver fuel additive. I swear, I don't know what's going on with me. The words don't want to come out of my brain. It all started a few minutes ago when I started the show. Everything was great. I have 2 words for you about their product. It works, and it does. I use it myself. I would have never thought, but they made a believer out of me. But don't believe me? Go and talk to them. Go to www.cleanstarproducts. There's a phone number on their website. I want you to call that phone number, and there's a real good reason why I want you to call them directly. They will answer any of your questions about the product personally. Okay? That's number 1. Number 2, should you get all your answers that you were looking for, and then you decide to purchase some of the DX1 driver, mention you saw it on the Peter G Show. Right there in live in person, and they will send you 5 bottles for the price of 4. But you have to say, hey, I saw it on the Peter G Show, and they told me to call in, and I had questions, and you know what? I'm thinking about giving it a try. Bingo! You get 5 bottles for the price of 4. That's right, folks. I started noticing the difference after about my 4th fuel fill up of gas, and you just pour one of these little bitty bottles into the oil change, clean oil change, boom, lasts the whole oil change. And every time you fill up your tank, if you have a regular car, you will fill it up. You put one of these little bottles in your fuel tank with a, fill up. If you have a truck or SUV, the bottle's a little bit bigger. See the difference in size? A little bit bigger. Put it in. Boom. Done. That's all you got to do. It's not rocket science. Good food, good body. Same thing with your car. So become a believer like I did. Give them a call. Go to www.cleanstarproducts. Find the number on the bottom of the website, and then give them a call and talk to them. They believe in their product. They have a product that works, and it does. Okay? All right, the moment you've been waiting for. Now, one more. Get it right this time. Ooh, smooth. I was great up until minutes before the show, and I realized that I was missing something that was a key component to making this show start on time minutes before the show, and it just completely rattled me. See? Even though I'm a professional and will rise above it, even I have my moments. I know it's hard to believe. But I went into oh crap mode. And here we are, but apparently it's still sticking with me subconsciously. See? I think I'll go home and we'll just start again tomorrow. I'm sure Pastor Ray won't mind. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, from Baltimore, Maryland, my friend of the show. He's been a friend of the show for several years now. We'll talk about that. He's been on this show before, and he's going to be on this show in the matter of seconds. Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Ray Poellot.
Hello there. How are you?
Oh, you see how I am. I'm a friggin' mess. It's like,
what are you drinking?
Secret sauce. It's a secret sauce. Yeah. If I told you, well, you wouldn't believe me anyway. But I'll tell you off the air. I don't know. I told you before we started that I went into that panic mode, and that's all it takes is to make me just lose all composure and stumble all over everything. But again, here we are. I'm here. You're here. At least it's not technical issues. It's just human error at this point.
This is true.
How are you?
I'm too blessed to be depressed. It's interesting that you mentioned a couple of things, like you were talking about Thanksgiving and how tough it was for some people. And as you were saying, I was thinking my favorite Thanksgiving, I was a 15-year-old foster kid, and a couple of hippies invited me up to Estes Park, Colorado. It's a beautiful town up in the mountains, and we smoked a little wacky weed and listened to Madman Across the Water from Elton John, and it was like the best Thanksgiving of my life.
Yeah.
You know why? Because somebody cared.
I get it, and that's the thing. It doesn't take much to have a good, warm, fuzzy feeling, so to speak. But at the same time, there's a lot of people going through, I mean, more than anything. But I watch, again, I'm a broken record. Facebook is my gauge. And I have a lot of people that I'm very close with that are struggling right now. I know them personally. And there's not a whole lot I can do. And I don't want to really dump my opinion on it because everybody's got one. And because I can't do anything to change their lives, and I just feel really bad about it, and I don't know what to do.
Well, it's kind of like the story about the starfish, where the thousands of starfish wash up on shore, and a little kid is frantically throwing them out into the water, and a man says, "Kid, what are you doing? You can't make a difference." And he threw another one in the ocean. He said, "I did for that one. I just, take one person under your wing and love on them over the holidays and make a difference to one person at least."
Yeah, I mean, and again, the holidays amplify the emotions a lot more. It makes it even, if you're having a tough time, it makes it even worse. And I mean, I see people that are literally crying for help in their own way on Facebook. Let's face it, you watch Facebook a lot. There's a lot of people that throw it out there. They're like, they need to be somebody to listen to them,
Right.
And I wish I could get these people to call in. I mean, we just talk it over the phone at the same time live. I did it not too long ago with a friend, somebody who I knew was having a hard time with some drinking and because of his divorce and this and that. And it's like, believe me, I know. But everybody's gone through that kind of stuff. It's not just them. So it's hard.
Well, everybody handles things differently. For me, I'm always promoting Jesus as the cure. I think, everybody is born with a hole in their heart. And from the time they're born, like everybody says, babies are innocent. Well, okay, as soon as babies are innocent and you look over them and you say, "Did you wet the bed?" and the sheets are soaked, they're lying to you. So they got everybody's trying this hole in their heart. They're trying to fill it, and it can be sex and drugs and rock and roll, or narcissism, anger issues, all kinds of different things. And it's only when we can find what really needs to go. Right? Obviously, from my point of view, it's Christ. Everybody finds a different way. When you're in the middle of it and you don't have somebody guiding you along the way, that's when it's particularly tough.
I get it. I mean, I had to give up certain things. I mean, you just mentioned it right there. I too was, sex and drugs and rock and roll. And I realized, I said, I got to quit. I got to quit this. So I gave up the rock and roll. I said, so long as there's sex and drugs, I can do without the rock and roll. No, I'm sorry. It's just a joke, people. It's a joke.
That's a Peter G-ism.
Yeah, it's a joke. No, I mean, there's some truth to it, but again, I live to tell about everything, and I'm much wiser and more sensible now. Although I did have a good time. But either way, let's back it up a little bit. Why don't you do me a favor and tell everybody just a quick synopsis about you, what you're doing, and then I got some even more back questions. But just tell everybody, who you are and why I choose, every year to bring you on the show, because to me, I think it's really important. And I said to myself, I'll be bringing you on until I can't, So check it. Just let everybody know who you are. I mean, everybody knows you're Pastor Ray Poellot from Baltimore, but tell them why.
Well, usually when people think of pastor, they think of somebody in a big church or something. We actually have a church. It's a church without walls, and it's literally outside. If it's snowing or raining, we take everybody over to an IHOP, and there's always a hot meal afterwards for everybody. But been working with the homeless for 25 years in April, and most of the people up until recently had been drug addicts and alcoholics. We're getting a lot more mental now. And as of late, we've had fewer people to deal with because they're dying at a much higher rate because of fentanyl. Kind of my life mission, my calling is to introduce people to Jesus. I don't force it on anybody, It's just like for addicts, they're not going to get out of it until they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then they have a made-up mind. When they reach that point, if we're there, then we can get them into a program or something. But we want to introduce them to Jesus, get them off of drugs and alcohol, and get them connected with an agency, and hopefully get them out of the woods. As we're going through the holiday season, like on Christmas, we will be going out. I go out with a big church in the daytime, and we feed people in the city, in Baltimore City, probably about 100 people. But on Christmas night, we'll go out, we'll take totes filled with gifts, and we'll go to maybe 10 different homeless people that live in tents in the woods, and we'll have like a little mini party. We'll give them a super hot meal. And let them know, during the daytime, it's kind of like Skid Row in LA. All kinds of organizations will go down there. Well, during the daytime, churches on Thanksgiving and Christmas go out and hand out meals. It's different when you go to their camp at night with a really piping hot meal, and you got a tote full of gifts that are wrapped up. It gives them hope, even if it's just for one night, and it makes a huge difference. And we get blessed too. I mean, it feels so good.
Wow. Look, yeah, I would imagine the whole scenery changes at night, in these types like Skid Rows and things like that. Like daytime is like you can kind of tolerate it, but at night it gets pretty hoodie,
Yeah, well, in Skid Row and the larger homeless encampments that you see on TV and YouTube and stuff, they're usually fairly organized. When we go back into the woods, there could be a tent with 2 or 3 people, and then you go a mile away and there's another tent. And I want to tell you one really, really awesome story. This guy's name, he's 74, by the way. He's been homeless for as long as I've known him. I've known him since 2015. And his name's Baltimore Bob, and he's lunatic. When I say lunatic, I mean he's got all the bipolar, schizophrenic, paranoid, and he just he'll walk down the street and start screaming obscenities and cursing the government, and he's been doing this for years. And I've always just gotten in front of him and say, "Hey, I love you, I love you, I love you." And he calms down, and then he'll go off onto another tirade. About 6 weeks ago, we were in a Bible study, and I asked a half a dozen people, "Hey, will you all pray for this guy every single day? We're going to pray in unity for one thing, for him to have a clear mind." This was on a Monday night that I asked everybody to pray. And then I sent everybody a text every day of the week, and everybody prayed. The following Sunday morning, he called me up and said, "Ray, where are we having church?" It's been 6 weeks now. He still has a clear mind.
Get out of here.
No, this was no intervention or anything like that. This was just God. And it's interesting because in our church, we were talking about, in the Bible, there's the book of Acts. It's about miracles, signs, and wonders. And we kind of believe that the Bible is still alive and well, and that Jesus still works. It might not be like to grow 3,000 people into a church in one day, but individually, when people believe. And it taught us all that if we just pray believing, we can make an impact. And God changed this man's life.
That's you told me you had a really good story, but I didn't realize it was going to be I didn't know what to expect. I mean, and you're telling me that he's somewhat sane now.
Clear mind. That's what we prayed for, and he has a clear mind. It's amazing. And now he still gets a little confused. Somebody called me up the other day and said, "Hey, Baltimore Bob's over here for church." Well, it was on Monday. We have church on Sunday.
Well, when you don't have a heavy schedule, you could lose track of your days. Is he on meds or on drugs too, or
nothing?
Nothing. So man,
nothing.
No,
he's hated by the police because he hasn't had control of his bodily functions for years, so he smells really bad, and that is going away too. So it's amazing how God works.
How old is this guy about?
He just turned 74.
Oh, you told me that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And he's homeless because of his craziness, or
well, now he's in a house. He's with some special needs people, and they're hoarders, but he is inside now because like tomorrow is going to be 20 degrees here.
That's what I was going to ask you. How's the weather? You guys had snow yet?
No. Tonight or like 4 o'clock in the morning, we're supposed to get a little scattering out in Western Maryland. They'll probably have a foot.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in the 30s temperature wise, and the wind's been blowing a lot, so that puts it in the 20s.
Yeah.
Well, so it's very cold out.
Yeah, the way it's wintertime. I want to back it up. a little bit more because I don't even know if I have ever even asked you this. How many years you've been at it doing this part of your pastoring and stuff?
Well, in April, it'd be 25 years.
25 years.
Yep.
Okay. What made you decide to go and do this? Because it ain't easy.
Well, the spiritual answer would be because I'm a pastor and that's my calling. But I think the psychological part of it is being in a foster home. And I met a mute one time, and I was working in a Pizza Hut as a 14-year-old or something. And I closed the store, and this mute was sitting next to the building, and I tried to approach him, and he jumped, and he wrote down some things, and I took him to my foster home, and we put him up for the night. And then I was able to track down his family because he was lost. And so I think that was my first wanting to reach out and help the underdog.
Okay, because look, again, I know there's lots of people with good intentions, but sometimes it's just not easy to act on them. To be, especially you have pretty much dedicated your life to this. I mean, let me. I got another question for you. I don't know why I came up with these last week while you were ill. I just started thinking. I said, "What haven't I asked you?" I'd like to know if you could take me through a week of being you. Like, what do you do on Sunday? What do you do on Monday? Are you like a cookie cutter? Like, did Mondays I do this, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday? What is the day in the life of Pastor Ray taking care of the homeless and doing all your ministry and all that?
Well, some days are cookie cutter, but like Sunday, I drive 18 miles away and go to my church at early morning service. And then when I get back, I load chairs up into my car. If we don't have anybody cooking, I've cooked the night before and get all the food into totes and stuff. And then a friend of mine comes over and we go around and pick a couple people up, the homeless people. And we meet at a field. Everybody knows where the field is. And some people walk. But we 2 years ago, we might have had 15 homeless people. Now we might have 3. But we have 20 or 30 people show up from, some of them come a great distance, 20, 30 miles. And we just, for an hour, we talk about the Bible. Up until recently, we had a professional guitarist, hippie, rock star doing our worship music. He just moved on. So we're just playing songs now. And I told him I'd take my guitar out, but I don't want to close the church down. And then the rest of the day after that, it's pretty much chill. I do like anybody else, go home and watch football, or I might catch a message from another preacher or something. Then during the week.
Monday. What's a Monday?
Monday, every day I start the day reading the Bible, and I dedicate about an hour and a half to reading the Bible and studying, and then and praying.
Every day. Yeah. And if I don't do that, I don't feel right. And it's not out of a religious obligation. I love the Lord. I love the Bible. I love everything that's in it. And I learn something new every single day. But then I'll pick a friend of mine up. We go out to eat and go where there's some homeless people. And like she's in an area where there was quite a few people. And we try to reach these people. And these people, like 10 o'clock at night on a main highway, they're in the middle of the highway doing the fentanyl nod. They're the demon dance. And you just pray that they don't get hit by a car. But we ask them, hey, why don't you go into a program? They don't want to hear about God. Oh, my granddad prays for me all the time. And we have to recognize and remind ourselves every day, we can't fix anybody and we can't save anybody. We just keep loving on them and planting seeds. And long story short, the girl got very ill, went in the hospital, and now they're both in treatment, her and her boyfriend. And there's another guy that my friend's been talking to on a weekly basis, and he kind of got foul-mouthed the other day with her, so she backed off a little bit. But we haven't seen him for a couple of days because when it gets this cold, some of them will go into shelters. And then every now and then, let's say on a Tuesday, we go out to eat, see if there's anybody around. I go help an old fella out, do his lawn and stuff like that. And then in the afternoon, we might pop over to a camp and see if anybody's there. But the big thing is on Saturdays now, there's a group of people from different churches and different beliefs, and we all get together. Food is donated from the Amish, and we feed on average 30. We've fed as many as 130, but on average right now at this time of year, it's about 30 people. And those people, like the Saturday before Thanksgiving, we gave them extra meals, a Thanksgiving meal. Normally on Thanksgiving night, I would go out, but I was sick this year. This was the first time I missed in 15 years. It killed me. But we'll do that on Christmas. And those people, like the back of my car is like Walmart. I got, 20 or 30 pair of brand new jeans, 40 or 50 pair of socks, underwear, bug spray, hand warmers, pretty much blankets, anything that you can imagine, tents. And there's some other ladies that keep their cars loaded that come down from Pennsylvania now. So it's this isn't a solo gig. There's people in communities all across the country that do this. It's we're not special. We have this blessing from God to serve. And it's old I think it was Zig Ziglar about 100 years ago said the more help that you give, the more help you get. And it's like I look at myself as a pass-through entity. I just get loved up from God. I pass it on to other people. And the result is when I tell you I'm too blessed to be depressed, that's
not a saying; it's a way of life.
Do you do you take days off? I mean, like to where you just don't do anything, or, and just like say, hey, I just need today. I just need to get away, or every day there's a little bit of something.
No, I mean, I might not see any homeless people on a given day, but I don't take the day off. It's there is no burnout. I absolutely love helping people.
Yeah, I was just because it's almost like being in your own business, kind of, sort of. What you're doing. I mean, nobody's really dictating to you what and how to do it. And I was just wondering, I'm going, that's almost like this show. It's a 24/7 thing for me, and people don't understand that. And I can do more or less, but you can never do enough. There's always more that can be done. And I just was wondering, I go, do you ever just say, hey, you know what, today's Thursday, I just need to just cut out and I didn't know if you do that or not, No,
not really. I know back in 2019, I think I told you I went to the tunnels in Vegas for 6 days. And, it was 115 degrees every day. But we were in the tunnels. And when we came out at night, there were hundreds of people on the street. So we're giving out cases of water and stuff. And I think we talked to about 250 people over the course of those days and had significant, meaningful discussions about Christ. To 17. Well, you can say, well, that's not that many. It is to those 17.
Yeah, sure.
It was life-changing. And then one time I went to Colorado to visit family, and I kept a couple bags of toiletries and things like that in my car. And just like anywhere else, there was a couple homeless people, and I got the chance to, hey, let me give you this bag. And my Spanish is very rusty, but we were able to talk to them about Christ, and at least for that day made a difference,
Right.
The thing is, it's just like when you were talking about the holidays. We can't fix anybody. We can't save anybody, but we can definitely influence people. And you make it very clear that you love people. That's the best way to influence people. Just love on them no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to be real, pretty much. I mean, it has to really be real. Otherwise, it's, I mean, I get called, Pastor Ray, since I started doing, we talked about this earlier today about doing current events and things like that. I get called a lot of names online. I mean, people that are just, they don't agree, but they can't just not agree. They have to resort to calling me a friggin', an effing idiot or, a clown. And it's like, I don't know this person. I'm not going to get mad about it. It's just the way it is,
But Peter, if you look at hopefully I won't stir up a hornet's nest here, but like Israel and Hamas, or Ukraine and Russia, or the killing that you talked about earlier, it all comes down to money. And where you have this political diversity, one side represents hate. And that's all it is. It is pure hate. And it's like spoiled kids. I want what I want when I want it, and I want it now. And if you don't get it, then you're an enemy. That's a biblical proportion. I mean, there's a story in the Bible about two people, Isaac and Ishmael. And Isaac was, long story short, Ishmael was a bastard, and he was told that he was going to have enmity with mankind forever. That's one of the groups that you see that represents evil in the world today. So it doesn't matter if you're on a small scale or a large scale. There's that good and there's bad. And for me, I don't believe in gray. There's right and there's wrong. There's black and there's white. People try to make gray because it's just like within religion. They have rationalized religion. They'll take a little bit of what the Bible says and a little bit about, I feel this way, and it has no significance at all. It's what does the Bible say? That's the truth. And then if you take it outside of the Bible, just in like with political rhetoric, it comes down to love and hate, good and evil. It really does. And I know for you have to remind yourself to not take it personal.
No, I don't. Again, because they don't know. And a lot of times the name calling is on these short clips. I put out lots of short clips through the week. So
right.
somebody's watching 40 seconds of something that has way more definition and way more understanding if you watch the full version, and they take what I say and they just disagree with it, and just for some reason they have to comment, and they comment, and I don't reply to comments, but everybody else does. I mean, it starts thousands of comment wars over this. But the thing is, it's the judgment. I don't hate anybody unless they're going to do some kind of type of harm. I give everybody a chance. Doesn't matter what color, what size, what breed, what sexuality, whatever. Everybody has a fair shot with me to be a decent human being until they cross that line, which not many do, but they just prejudge. You know what I mean? It's that.
I think a great equalizer with all of humanity from our standpoint is to understand that every single person on this planet has a story. So whatever that story is what motivates them to be the way that they are. We don't know it. And like you were asking what got me into it, and I could go back to when I was a foster kid. But I've taken time to look at my life and to see why am I the way that I am. And for me, particularly with dealing with homeless people that are heavy in their addiction, you kind of learn things, some patterns and stuff. But I have to remind myself when they act really hateful or negative to me that they have a story. We have a men's group in a restaurant every Monday night, and I'm constantly trying to witness to the servers. Well, sometimes they get a little ticked off at me. And then at the end of the day, I leave them a good tip, tell them I love them, and God bless you. And
wait a minute. What do you mean by witness to the servers? What does that mean?
I tell them, do you find, like most servers there are like college kids? Yeah. And I just ask them a couple questions. I say, that we're a church group, a bunch of Bible thumping Jesus freaks. Did you hear about us? Yeah. And they kind of laugh and stuff. And I say, hey, I got a question for you. Do you know Jesus? And they'll say, yeah. And I'll say, I wonder if you could tell me what death, burial, and resurrection is. And it's like they got hit in the face, a deer with the headlights,
Sure.
And that means, I say, so you know of him, but you don't know him. And sometimes they'll give me an audience and I get to talk with them. Sometimes they'll just say, well, I'm Buddhist, or I'm atheist, or I'm like, and then over the course of weeks, I can talk to them some more. But again, I know they got a story, what makes them the way that they are. And I can't fix them or save them, but I plant them seeds and I'm an influencer. Like, you're a huge influencer. We were talking earlier about the fires. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people out there talking about the fires the way that you did.
Oh, in Maui?
Yeah. And there was like the political cover up, if you will, but you were diving deep and looking into it. And you're going to have people that are going to applaud you for doing that because you spoke the truth. And there's people that are going to hate you because they're going to think you're paranoid and a conspiracy theorist. You just can't please people. For me, my life is easy. All I got to do is please God.
Well, there's a price to pay for everything. I mean, again, even though you're talking about the Maui fires, for some reason it just hit me. I just felt I had to. I don't know why. I mean, that was one of my deepest of, like not letting it go. I did 5 shows on that up until even this year. I brought on somebody else who lives there and we followed up some more. But, I got death threats from that kind of stuff, and I don't know how worthy they were, but I did get them. And I mean, it's just, and I'm going, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, I'm not going to take it too seriously, but, people are really evil. They're really mean. They again, if you don't agree, let me ask you something real quick, because you said something about the way you are is the way you are. I mean, everybody's got a story. I just saw it recently and I wish I had it, but I saw this picture and it was like a meme, so to speak, or, picture, and it said 2 brothers and they're sitting on a park bench. One has a suit on. The other one's kind of got a beard and a ski cap on. You know what I'm talking about already?
Yep, I do.
Okay. 2 brothers from the same father. The father was an alcoholic. And the one brother is successful in business and does really well. And the other brother is kind of struggling and hateful and this and that. And when asked the question, why are you successful in business? I mean, why are you down on your luck and angry with the world and this and that? The one brother says, well, my father was an alcoholic. And then when they ask the second brother, well, how come you're successful in business and you're doing really well? And he says, well, my father was an alcoholic.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like a lot of sense with a lot of meaning.
Right. And it's and we find this in the addicted community in particular, it comes down to choice.
Yeah.
And like for me, because I'm always promoting Jesus Christ, you don't have to believe. I believe firmly. I believe that Christ rose again for the remission of my sins. I believe in heaven and hell. Everybody, I believe, in the end will live eternally. The difference is a choice, one choice. And the story that you just elaborated on, it's the same thing. It's a choice. Both of my parents, we were devout Christians, and something happened. I think my mom started sleeping around. They divorced. They both became drunks. They both died of alcoholism-related diseases. And I have a brother that was the secretary of AA in Colorado for 20-some years as a recovering alcoholic. I have a brother that came back from Vietnam as a loadie that, gets loaded every day. Twin that committed suicide. Every one of us were so different, but for each of us, it was a choice. Now, my brother that I looked up to when I saw him in Colorado, and I'm estranged from my family in Colorado, I don't see him ever. He told me, I looked up to him. I thought, oh man, he's a businessman. He's got his life together and everything. He told me I was a high school dropout. I've never amounted to anything. And he just broke down in front of me. And he said, alcohol. That was his choice. So, it's for everybody that we meet, whether they're homeless or whether they're wealthy. And there's a lot of wealthy people that are extremely unhappy because money doesn't do it. It's relationships. It's having people that make a significant difference in our lives.
Yeah. Life's full of choices, no doubt. And this past week or last week's show, and I don't know why it stuck in my mind so much, I just told this quick little story about this Jewish woman that I knew in my past. She was part of an accounting firm that paid the people that I did some music with. And for some reason, I had to go pick her up, and because I was going that way, I had to pick her up. And we got into this conversation, and we started talking about something. And either way, whatever we said, she says, God helps those who help themselves. And it never left me. It's just funny how it's like certain little things. And, even though you think you're helping yourself, it's like, how are you helping yourself? Or are you just thinking you're helping yourself while you're downing, a bunch of booze or doing drugs or whatever, and oh, woe is me. And I just never forgot her to where I mentioned it again last week,
It's, there's a little story. I was teaching a Bible study to a 65-year-old lady that was dying from stomach cancer, and her heroin addicted daughter and her boyfriend would come in and sit and start scratching and nodding and stuff. And they had just fired up heroin before the Bible study. And every Bible study, I did it for 12 weeks. And I was so drained afterwards because I'm kind of like having a conversation and praying at the same time, like, Lord, get rid of this distraction. A couple years after that Bible study, I got an email from a young lady, and she said, "This is Sharon. I'm Carol's daughter that was strung out on while you were doing a Bible study. I listened. I just finished 2 years of Bible college." All I did was plant seeds, Peter. I mean, I had no direct influence in that. I was teaching the mom. I was faithful to it despite the distraction, and she picked up something.
I want to back up a little bit because I want to talk about your crowd, because every year I kind of ask you, how many people do you think you lost, this year? I mean, how many years you've been on? This is your fourth appearance or fifth? Do you know?
I think this is the fourth.
Okay. But I know that every year I'd ask you, because of drugs and this and that, like who came in for the year, who didn't make it through the year, whether it was for health, self-neglect, or drug overdoses now. You just brought it up when you came on to the show, discussing, telling things that this fentanyl has killed a whole lot of people. How many people do you think this year alone that have come and gone through, by your eyes?
It's that number is probably 20, but there's one person in particular, a fellow named Henry. Henry was coming to church regularly, and he was leaning more towards drinking than drugs, and he was with some guys that were really doing a lot of fentanyl. So we said, hey, let us move your camp away from everybody, and we did that. And a week later, he didn't come to church, and the next day I'm driving around. I'm about 5 miles away, and I just got this check in the spirit, go check on Henry. And I did, and he was dead. He was so far gone. And I've found dead people in the woods before, but this guy was like very gentle and humble and sweet. And I could just tell you that he looked like a demon that had died. I know that when he died, he was wrestling with the devil. I just know that in my heart. That was, in all the years I've been doing this, that was the hardest death that I've seen. Because I'm friends with them. They're all my friends.
Right.
And we have a whole team, and they're friends with all of us.
You told me last year, and I don't know, I don't think this is the same thing. You had somebody that was getting ready to go into rehab. They finally, he started coming around to you. You got him going, and he just got high one more time, and that was the end, right?
Yep, that was Josh, and then we lost. Let's see, Rob and Whitney and Liz. I mean, I can name in a 5 mile area from where I live. I can name over the last 25 years at least 30 just in this area, and then you go to Dundalk, another community that we serve, and it would jump up to 50 or 60.
And you remember a lot of their names,
I remember most of them. Now, some of them died that we don't know about. We don't see them anymore.
Right.
There's a fellow in Dundalk named Tex, and another homeless person said, hey, Tex died. Yeah, right. It's a homeless person telling us we can't trust that. But then we got verification, and the sad part is he fell over out of his wheelchair on a curb on a busy street and laid there for 3 days. Nobody would stop.
Get out of here.
No, it's just, and it's like, it breaks your heart. I mean, Tex was a drunk, but he wasn't mean. He was a sweet guy. He was fighting addiction his whole life,
Yeah, problem, right.
Yeah.
Are you getting any people that are just flat out down on their luck? They're not really drug addicts or alcoholics. They just don't work, or disabilities, or things like that.
No, I mean, like we had a lady, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, showed up. She, little skinny thing, looked like she's getting ready to die. And she had a boyfriend, and said, no, we don't do drugs. And gave him a tent and got him a cooking stove and a propane tank and hooked him up. Next thing you know, she's doing a fentanyl dance. And we actually went back to her camp one time, and we were giving her some new clothes, and we got out of the car, and there was a lady there, a very, very well-dressed lady. She is the messenger. She's talking to her. Car pulls up behind us. This big guy comes out. He's the law, and he gets in front of her. He holds up a wad of money and a bag of dope, and then this thug gets out of the car, and he's probably packing. We get in the car, we get out of there, and we vowed at that point we're not going back there again, because those are the kind of situations where they will just pop a cap in you. They don't care.
Yeah, but I mean, so you're not meeting any people that are just struggling financially, that ended up being homeless, and they're out on the streets, but yet they're not addicted to anything, and they're not mentally ill. None.
So there's one Vietnam vet and his son that live in a broken down camper, and they're parked in like a Walmart parking lot where they, can stay there forever. They got tarps over it. He's got some brain damage. The son has had allegedly a couple of strokes. He's like 35 years old, couple of strokes drug related. His arms are just all scarred up, and like we had church at IHOP this past Sunday because it was brutally cold and I'm just getting off of being sick. And church starts at 1. He shows up at 2:30 when we're eating. So he's wanting a meal. We said, hey, how you doing? And we didn't get him a meal. We weren't being mean, but he's not going to be disrespecting us either.
Wow.
So you got to have tough love too.
No, I get it. Again, I'm just trying to,
So no, and so there is a family. It's a lady and her husband and her son and his girlfriend, and she actually just went in a hospital. She's got fluid on her lungs. None of them do drugs or alcohol. They're all slow. But they've been. We did a interview with them on TV on local news network about 5 years ago, and they just kept saying, if these programs would come in and help us, and it's like we've offered them many things, but you got to do a little bit of stuff. You got to fill out the application, and they won't do anything. So I mean, I still take them over propane, and they introduced us to a new homeless guy the other day that he lost his job. Said he doesn't do drugs or alcohol, but he'd been drinking. So,
What about you mentioned you're getting a lot of mentally ill. What does that entailed?
It's usually drug related, but like schizophrenia is a side effect of a lot of hardcore drug use. And of course they go to a methadone clinic or a Suboxone clinic, and these maybe not so well trained social workers tell them that you have schizophrenic ideation, and they start dropping these psychological terms. Well, in Maryland, if you're an addict, you can get disability.
Really?
Yeah. So you got a lot of people that are comfortable with their addiction now.
Right. You're just getting some money every month just to.
Yeah. Now they'll live in tents, but let's say that you get $900 a month. You're living in a tent. Yeah. If you're really addicted, you're still going to blow most of it. You'll be out panhandling so you can get money to feed your habit.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And the cops have been pretty vigorous in keeping them off the corners locally. They find new places to go panhandle and new ways to do it. But yeah, it's just sad. It's nothing like it's not like California. I mean, what you've got going on in San Francisco and LA is just horrendous.
Our governor is going to turn this, and he's not going to stop until this place becomes, just completely uninhabitable. I mean, if he doesn't finance us out of here, it's just a wreck. I was just doing something prior to the show today that was talking about the worst places in California that are like people are leaving, and I would have thought San Francisco was number one. It was actually number two, and it's just and it's a mess. And he's not making
number one.
It was actually no. You know what? No, they didn't mention Oakland. I think they kind of grouped that up, San Francisco, Oakland, because they're so close to each other. LA was actually number 3, and I think San Diego was number 4. But number one was an inner, like someplace I don't even think about in California. I'm going to play that. I mean, I saved it, but I was going to use it because, again, he's killing us over here. He's just every week he's coming up with some cockamamie idea, to bring in more illegal immigrants and no problem, and keep charging us more money just to breathe air. So it's
well, I think that between him and the mayor of Chicago, they're kind of cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, no, better days are coming.
They are. No
days are coming. And again, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you've gotten stronger. I mean, being able to support these people, than from years ago. Am I correct? Like, how are you getting? Because before, to be able to afford jeans and socks and things like that for people, you were relying on a lot of donations. How's that going for you?
Well, we actually don't do donations. We have. I set a budget. I'm retired and I'm comfortable, so I have a percentage. Like when you have a church, you maybe tithe 10% of your income. I'm debt free, so I pay maybe 30% of my income to buy clothes. And then one of the ladies in our church, the church that she goes to, they give her bags of clothes, or oftentimes they're brand new, because we don't like to give used clothes, because sometimes when we get used, they're garbage. And then we have different people that cook for the church services. And if we go to IHOP to eat on any given Sunday, somebody else might pick up the bill, or I'll pick it up. It's like we kind of look at the church without walls is like the Book of Acts church, where everybody just took care of everybody. So if there's a need, somebody in our little group of 20 people or so is going to take care of it.
I get it, but I mean, even to go to IHOP per person, it's double what it even was, a few years ago. It's hard.
It's about $400 or $500 for us to go on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But what I encourage people to do with your listeners is to find somebody. There's churches or individuals that are doing homeless outreach almost everywhere. If you want to participate in that, connect with them, and if you want to help financially or with clothes, or with your time, maybe volunteering. Like, we're selective on who goes out with us, meaning like we have people that used to be homeless that are in apartments now that want to go and do homeless outreach with us. It's good, but help us while we're at church, but we're not going to take you out on outreach because you're going to be around a bunch of other drug dealers or drug users. Actually, one of the guys in our church, you're going to love this, Peter, another great story, used to be the drug dealer to all the people in Dundalk. And so like he sold drugs to about 300 people down there. He's like going to be a pastor before long. He's devout. He's on fire for God. He relates to people. Matter of fact, he just left my house from a Bible study an hour before we started. His name's Vondell. He's like a mighty man of God. And it's what a powerful story of a redeemed life. He used to be the drug dealer, did some time, got a new life, and he's living for the Lord. And he's serving.
That's a big turnaround.
It's huge. And we get to see that all the time. We got one of the guys in our group, he used to be a rapper. His rapper name was Antichrist. And these guys are like 6'8". They're twins, 6'8", and they were thugs. They're on fire for God. So our church is pretty unusual, but it's amazing.
Well, that's good. I mean, I'd like to know what made him turn around, because it's pretty powerful when you're the drug dealer. You're making all this money, you're in charge, and then all of a sudden to give that all up and turn around. I mean, it had to be something major. Otherwise, most people don't make it. They either die or keep on going on the way they are.
He got locked up, and somebody gave him a Bible. That's all he had to read. And he started reading it, and he felt like God spoke to him. He's got a video. He was in Dundalk, maybe 7 months ago, in a Subway, not the restaurant, not the. And he's sitting there reading his Bible, and a guy comes in to rob the place, and he shows his gun to the ladies. And Vondell sat there and said a little prayer, and then he went up and put him in a chokehold, took him to the ground. The guy went bolting out of the street. So he's like a local hero too.
Huh. Well, I'm going to remind you. Maybe we'll bring him on because
you would love it. He's an amazing person.
Oh, for me, for everyone. I think that is amazing. I mean, because a lot of people you just don't survive it. Either you continue on until you either get killed or end up for the rest of your life in prison. I mean, most people don't get turned around. It's very rare.
Rare. And that's how my God works. Okay. It's like that's the one common thread for all these guys' redeemed lives is God. We say people found God, but God calls us. And everybody can have different beliefs, but I'm telling you, he calls everybody. He puts somebody in their path. They can listen or they can reject it, but everybody is called. Not all will accept the call.
Yeah. There we go. Somebody's God bless Pastor Ray. Amen. There you go. My brother. That's somebody from the Gulf Coast right there. God bless you.
God bless you.
Yeah. And he's a good dude. God knows we go way back too. I got a lot of people that I either have the friends that I've known for 40 years that like they don't watch me at all because they go, why should I watch you? I've watched you for 40 years, being you. Or you got the people that know who I am and still choose to be okay with me, and it's that much of an extreme, I mean, and both. I mean, when we're in person together, we're fine, but they don't go out of their way. I either got the ones that are still willing to watch the show for what reason, and some go, dude, I'm not going to watch your show. I see you all the time. I don't want to watch. That's just like your show, only off the air. In fact,
hey, real quick, unrelated question: how is your daughter doing?
Real quick, that is a related question because the whole reason I sit here, and I say that all the time, is because of my daughter. But she is, in fact, she called me minutes before the show, before we came on, because she wanted to check up on me.
That's awesome.
She is busy with school, but again, when I'm saying this because you're on, but I'll always say it, I'm so blessed with her so far. She's still becoming an amazing human being. She's almost 19. She'll be 19 this month. And she's got her head on straight, and I told her the story because she knows what crazy is, and she's got a real good common sensibility about her. But unless she's scamming me, I think her head's pretty on straight, and she's not like messing around with alcohol or drugs or anything like that, experimenting, whatever you want to call it. And I told her the story about the one alcoholic father, and then she goes, "Oh yeah," and she goes, "Yeah, I get it, Dad." And it's like, so answer to your question is, she's really good, and thank you for asking. I mean, I miss her a lot because she's busy. They're busy, and she's going to be starting college in another year. But right now, she's in the 13th grade, trying to get a bunch of stuff done. So she's busy, but
still doing the horses.
She is, but even that's starting to slow down because she's busy. I mean, she still has her horse, but I go, you don't spend that much time. She goes, Dad, I got 1 million classes. She's trying to get as much out of the way and done because her profession is going to take her about 8 years of college, and so she's trying to get knock it out. I said, get it over with, kill yourself, get it over with, and then you're set, and she gets it. So don't do
you could probably help her in her college career if you get more people to subscribe.
Oh no, well, buy her way through. She's going to have to do the work. I mean, the one thing I've done with my child is I didn't spoil her. I spoiled her with my time, but I didn't spoil her with money, and she knows it, but she's never complained about it. I mean, we're good.
That's beautiful.
But as a parent, that you'd want to do, and that's the problem with some parents is like they do too much, and then they grow up to be nothing because they never had to figure out their stuff for themselves. I let her go as far as she can go until she hits a wall, and I mean, I guide her knowing it goes in one ear and out the other, and then I come to the rescue as needed, and not even rescue, but help her figure out how to, change a couple of things. But, it's a different world, man. She's quick. I'm looking up something, and she's already got it figured out, and I don't want to go like, you're too old, but they're fast. And, but yeah, life is good. I adore her, and I'm going to, anyway, I can't get enough of her, but unfortunately, she has enough of me, and so she's busy. I see her when I see her. Is there anything for Christmas coming up? The holidays? Anything that's on your mind? Anything? Because we got to start wrapping it up. But I mean, like I said, I always have great conversations. We always talk generally about the same thing, but there's always so much more to talk about. But anything coming up? Anything?
Well, Christmas is one of the highest suicide times. So if you have people that believe in God, just pray for all those people that are broken out there. And I would encourage everybody, regardless of what your religious persuasion is, to get involved and to be a blessing. On the back of my card, it says to be blessed, first be a blessing to others. And I truly, from the Bible, it's better to give than receive. That is so true. So, love somebody up over the Christmas holiday. And I've seen, Peter, so many people that you just give them a hug and say, hey, you matter. I love you. And if you're authentic with that, they'll connect with that, and it will make a huge difference.
Yeah. It's hard. Some people, they start getting angrier and angrier, like, life sucks. And I'm watching this a lot. People I know, And I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. Like, I feel like, oh, screw you, Peter. You're just sitting there doing your thing, and you don't understand. And I'm too far away to do a lot about it, and it bothers me a lot.
Somebody told me today, or they were telling somebody in our Bible study that was complaining about being cold, said, go to a tent. These people that think that life sucks, let them go out to a homeless encampment and talk to a couple people. Peter, I am so grateful to God when I get in the shower, when I get into bed, when I get in my car. There is so much to be grateful for. Yeah. So much. It's amazing. And things that we often take for granted. Like you asked me today to make sure that my phone was charged up. I got a guy that says, you think for Christmas this year I could get a battery pack? Yeah, you can.
Yeah. No, I know. I again, not to even mention your health, disease. We're losing people. I don't know about you, but me, I have a pretty big circle, and I hate watching somebody, so-and-so's got cancer, so-and-so's this and that. And I'm going, I really want to live to be really old. I want to watch my daughter grow up and really just be there. But we don't know. Life is what it is. But again, you can try to keep yourself better, or you can just drink yourself under the table and just say, why me? Why me? So life's full of choices.
Amen.
Amen. All right, look, time has once again eluded us, but I truly appreciate you taking the time. Again, every time I call you, say, sure, no problem, and I love you for it. And I enjoy the conversations. Off throughout the whole year, we'd hit a like through Facebook, or there might be a text, but life is busy. You're doing your thing, I'm doing mine, but at the same time, it's we just know that, it's all in good standing and all that. But I truly appreciate you for coming on and sharing a little bit more. And maybe, again, we reached somebody who might understand that, life is a bitch, but it's worth living. And that's it. I don't know. Any last word of wisdom before I let you go?
One of your fervent fans, Barbara. Hi, yes. Barbara.
Love Barbara.
She's an amazing person.
She actually is. She really is. I know you met her through this and that, but she is an amazing human being and a very loving and she understands how the gift of life. But what's your whole thing?
Oh, that's it. She understands the gift of life. She lives it passionately. She loves her family and she loves God. She's like one of the most well-balanced people I know, I think.
And she's had her share of things, it's like, no, that's what I mean. Everybody thinks it's like, they see me on this show for an hour or this and that. This is nothing. This is, this is what my 1 hour this is probably the best hour of my whole week. It really is, because the rest of it is real life. There's so much that goes on just to get here, not to mention life. And we all have problems. We all have issues going on. It's just a matter of a decimal point, whether you're worrying about $10 or $100, and you go, well, yeah, but at least you got $100. And I go, yeah, I get it, but not really. Not really. It's pretty much the same. You could be homeless in a blink of an eye if life takes its turns, regardless.
Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, listen, have a very Merry Christmas, and one last word to all your listeners. That little button, subscribe.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, there you go. All right, cool. Yeah, subscribe. I tell everybody, I need the help. I get so many people that want to help me for a price, and I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to buy my way. Either you're going to like or love me or appreciate being, and watching, or not. I'm not going to, just because I'm paying, that we're going to get all these phonies that make me look bigger. I don't need it. I want to be bigger, but I don't need it. I've made it this far in my life. I'll keep going. So.
Amen, brother. Hey,
all
keep up the good work. I appreciate you, brother.
Tell everybody in my crowd goodbye. And ladies and gentlemen, one last look at the infamous Baltimore's own Pastor Ray Poellot, right there in the flesh. Another monumental show in the can. This is your fourth appearance, so you say. I think it's either the fourth or the fifth, one or the other. And And thank you very much. I love you for doing it and always, willing to come on and just make me look a lot better. So I appreciate it. I love you.
Thanks, Peter. God bless.
All right. Thank you. I'll see you later. There we go. Hold on 1 minute. Woo! Pastor Ray asked me what's in the cup. Once in a while, everybody asks me what's in the cup. I probably will surprise the hell out of them when I finally tell them what's in the cup. Pastor Ray, right there, Baltimore's own homeless whisperer and God's servant to the homeless. He does things that I'm telling you, you may want to, people may show up to a soup kitchen once a year to go feed the homeless on Thanksgiving or something like that. This man is in the trenches daily. He's dedicated his life to it. So, we all got some catching up to do, some thinking to do. What's your life worth to you, and how appreciative are you about your life, regardless of its ups and downs? Again, the man complaining about no shoes says the man with no feet. I mean, it can go on and on. So thank you, Pastor Ray, for showing up and making this holiday a little bit more inspirational. I want to remind you people, next week, I want you to show up Wednesday, December 11th. I want you to show up. I need you to show up. But more than anything, I want you to call in. It's going to be a call-in show. And I'm threatening constantly about not saying and doing anything unless somebody calls in. But let's play it by ear. I want to talk about the holidays. I want to talk about Christmas or the holidays in general, family, the ups and downs. Who struggled? Okay? There's no shame in it. In fact, you'd be doing an honorable thing by sharing your stories, because for other people who can relate, who think it's just them, the struggle, the good stuff. Tell me a funny story. God knows there's plenty of those. But that's what I'm doing. Wednesday, December 11th, open phones, anything goes, the holidays, good or bad. I'm going to do this up through Christmas. In fact, I'm just realizing, we realized a while ago, but Christmas night is Wednesday, the 25th. And I don't know what to do for Christmas night. Should I show up? Or should I not even care? Oops. I wrote that upside down, didn't I? Oops. I'm just debating whether, like, Christmas night, is anybody going to... You're probably going to be home on a Christmas night. Should I do a show? Or should I just put a Yule log on for 2 hours? with my face just floating around like in the intro. Anyway, help me decide. Should I do Christmas night show December 25th? But either way, until then, we have 2 more shows, and they're all going to be about the family. Love, you, me, stories. Come share some stories with me. Come on. Let's get a little confidence up. You dial the phone, just talk. Let's just share with everybody. All right? I want to thank everybody for watching Life of Peter G, the Peter G Show. Please, as Pastor Ray said it, please subscribe. I need your help. I really do. That's the only way we're going to do it. I want to bring bigger, better. I do. But that is all dependent on you, the viewers, and the listeners. Remember, if you're too busy to watch the show, put an earbud in your ear, Google Peter G Show podcast, and you can put, over 400 shows to choose from. It's real simple. And you can listen to the shows while you're driving, while you're on the road, while you're at work, while you're exercising, all the above. It's real simple. But I appreciate you. I truly do. Okay? And lastly, the holidays are tough. Every day is tough. Just try to be kind. I know it's overwhelming for a lot of people. It's overloading. My mind does not stop. I have so many decisions on directions to go. Life is changing for everybody, not just you. It's for them and him and her. Everybody's got things going on. Try not to let that just ruin you, because you're going to get through it. But just be kind to others. You don't have to be an ass, even if people are, pushy, they're barking, you don't know what they're going through. Try to be understanding. Be kind. That's all I'm asking. Because life is short, okay? My name is Peter G. Thank you for watching Life with Peter G, the Peter G Show, every Wednesday, like clockwork, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. on the East Coast. There, I got it right. Only took me the whole show to finally get my tongue in coordination with my brain. I apologize for getting so tongue twisted tonight. I don't even understand it. I think you have it together and then everything just challenges. That's what it's all about, and be able to overcome them. And I'm a professional. I will rise above it. At least so I'm told. Don't take any wooden nickels. I want to see you here next week because I want to do open phones and I want you guys to talk to me about anything worthy of talking about. All right? Life is short. Let's live it. I'll see you next week. I love you guys. And thanks for watching. Peace out.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, divorce dad, single dad, divorce dad, single dad, Peter G Show.